speak about active record basics today. Maybe somebody knows what is about and what is for, what is active record, and okay. So, um, do you know something about databases? Okay, so the databases is a place where you store your data, and now to get data from databases, it's quite hard. So you need to write some strange and hard SQL code, and sometimes it's not really great. And you need to join your data from the databases to your application. So Active Record is your data dealer from base to your application. So Active Record um, helps you to get the data from databases much easier than write SQL by yourself. So I think I should describe um, first the MVC pattern. Uh, somebody knows about MVC? Anything? Yeah. So we'll talk today about models. So the models describes your application's data structure. So model is the big data structure, dynamic data structure of your application. View is representation of your application that sees that user sees, and controller helps to link models and views, so it provides the logic of your applications. So how your application works. Um, so we'll talk about models, and we'll talk about ORM. So it's object relational mapping, I think. It's the way that you're linking your database with your application. So you have a lot of objects in your applications. You know, I think that in Ruby everything is object. Yeah? So you need to link these objects with your database, and ORM helps you to build some rules with which helps to join this data to your application. So I think it's all about theory, and let's start a little bit coding. At first, we need to speak about naming. You've got models, so let's speak about this model. Is everything fine in the screen? So okay. Fine. Great. So if you have class of the model named book, you'll have a table in your database that's called books with starts with small letter. So Rails. Everybody somebody worked with Rails console before? No. Okay. So you can start your Rails console inside your Rails application and do some magic inside there. Okay. So we need. I think we. So you see that your Rails code is translate it into SQL query, and this SQL query is helps you to get data from your database. So you see that we have a model called book, and your database table calls books. Okay, so we have in plural form starts with small letter, um, and active record is quite smart. That so I think I should find something. This. See, yeah. So when you create a model, uh, you should have a table that calls in plural form from with the starts with small letter, and if your model calls with a camel case, your tables always named using snake case, and you can see that some special plural forms are also here for mouse, mice, and person, people, so on. Active record understand how to work with that. So let's speak about generating a new model. Somebody created your own Rails application. Okay, so I think let's start. Oop. To wait a little bit. So everything fine with naming? I think it's quite easy. So creation model. Um, there are some cool features in Ruby, in Rails, sorry, that can help you to generate your model with one string in your console. So there's some stuff that calls Rails generator. So, but you can write, there is an ls with letter G, so Rails G model book. Let's start with this. Oops. So we generated a model book, and we can see it in our so, there. So we generated our new model called book. We don't have any own fields yet, but we have some fields that generated automatically with your Rails generator. But before your model will be mapped with your database, first you need to create your database, and then you should migrate your database. So the migrations are some stuff that update your database, creating new tables or new columns in existing tables. So now we created new table called books, and in this table we have some columns, book. Now the model book has three fields. ID is a primary key of this database. Um, Anybody knows what is primary keys in database? So it's unique column which helps you to identify which column you need. So, for example, ID is unique, the column with unique values in this table. So uh, it's impossible to have three or two or three or four same IDs in this table. Okay. So and created add and updated add is timestamps that are provided by Rails. So you can see them there. You see timestamps. We'll talk about migrations a little bit later, but before migrations, before you run RegDB migrate, you can, for example, delete these timestamps if you don't need these fields in your applications. But it's really helpful when you work with big web applications. So it provides a lot of interesting information. So, and this file is generated automatically alongside with model file. So I hadn't write anything, and we created just a model with one string in the console. So it's the way how we create models in our applications. And now let's take our existing app. So now we have a class that describes our book model, and I think it's quite. So we need to get these books. So we need the way to create the instances of this class. Okay. So you have two main ways of creation of class objects, of model objects. First is like usual Ruby object creation. So everybody remember how to create an object in Ruby? Yeah. So there we have a little bit more fields. We can see them in our migration files. One more field. Okay. So in this book, in this class, we have a name field for the book. You can, so we forgot about this. When you write your generator, you can add fields that you need in your model in a such way. For example, if you need a name of type string, you just write in your terminal name string. And this column is provided automatically by Rails in your model. So creation. I think I have comments on my display. Stop. just if you create a new object without saying for database, is it works like a usual object in Ruby. It's not connected with anything. So if you need to save this object, you need to put it into inside your database. So, and you see that now ID created add and updated add are new, and they will automatically set when you save this object into your database. So we can first do something like this. Oops. Uh-huh. Mhm. Sometimes you need to sacrifice. So new book. ID, as you can see, provided automatically, so it just increments uh, from the previous instance of your module. Created app, add and updated add is just timestamps. Created add is timestamp of your saving to your database, and updated add is updating after every touch of this object. Okay, so if you need to update, the second way of creation uh, of an object is to create, and we can add fields as a hash. Something like this. So the difference between new and create is in such way that create save your record to the database. So the create is an alias for new and save. So just create and it's coming to your database and everything works fine. So for update, there are two ways of updating your database records. First is book first date. Something like that. And it's true. So if update is good, it returns true. If update false, it returns false. And there are special methods like this. If your update is fine, the same way. But if your update fails in some reasons, your validation fails or something else, usual update returns you false, and this update will raise an error. So you need to know it and you need to handle it. And the same way with create, you can also do stuff like that. And you can update all your records, book, like what? Help me with the name, please. So, and update all returns the number of your records in your database, and other update all features, we'll speak about them a little bit later. So if we do like this, we can see that all our books has the same name. So, and if you want to destroy the record, do just like first destroy. And so you can also do something like delete. And about differences we also will speak a little bit later. And also you can do destroy all, but you don't have any books. So everything clear there? Cool. So let's see. I can do now. Now I can do stuff like just book create. What do you think is bad about this instance of class book? Yeah. So I think it could be a problem. Yeah. Uh, so uh, in the way to provide this, the right way to handle these problems, Rails gives us validations. So we can validate everything we want, but there are some standard validations, and we'll speak about them now. So now in the top of this file you can see two um, validates strings. I think it's quite simple syntax that so validates, then the column you want to validate, and then the object of your validation. So you can check the presence of this presence of the field of this object, the length of this. Want you can want to say that it must be an integer or a float, or it's need to be string with the 5 letters or so on. So, and check uniqueness, for example. So now we can see that here we try to validate the presence of a name and say that the minimum length of this name should be 3. And uh, as a helping message, if everything is broken, uh, we'll put to the console this message. Every validator have their default messages, but you can provide anything you want instead of it. So let's try. Now you need to restart your console after changes in module. You can ask questions. Okay. So now if we try to create a book, we have a mistake. Just no mistake there. It just returns our object, our not saved object. So